Welcome back to another episode of Who Am I to Judge? Welcome back to another episode of Who Am I to Judge podcast. I'm Alexis.
And I'm Samantha. Welcome back.
Welcome.
How are you, Alexis?
I'm good. Today actually was like a very busy day. I had non-stop meetings. Like literally at one point I was in a meeting and it was like 50. I was like, I need to eat lunch. And I like turned off my camera and started like cooking shrimp and then like would turn it back on and sit down and be like, and then like turn it back off, go to fix the shrimp and come back and do the same thing.
So that's how it'd be working from home.
Yeah, so I had nonstop meetings. It was just like with a bunch of clients, and then I had to wake up early-ish today because Julia had to go in so you had to walk the dog before she could go in. So yeah, it's just been a busy day, but you know, I feel like I always have busy days. Like it's just like at the end of the day, I feel like I wake up early for the dogs, and then I usually am going until the end. So it just is what it is. What about you?
Yeah, I had a busy day as well. I really struggled getting out of the bed this morning. I was just so tired. And
how late did you stay up?
Like my normal time, like 12-ish, like between 12 and 1.
That's not bad for you.
It's not, but it needs to get better. I definitely am one of those people that do like revenge bedtime where it's just like mean? It's like I didn't get enough me time during the day, so it's I'm taking my like time to decompress.
I do that too.
Be on my phone, watch my shows, and just like have me time. But it's definitely it's a dangerous game to play because then you're like tired the next day. I'm just like one thing I will say is just like last week I had such a productive week and I was just like getting stuff done. I was doing the adulting calls and whatever. And it's just like, damn, I gotta do it again this week. Like at the same, I have to like, be at all cylinders all the time. It does not fucking stop. So yeah, I'm just tired today, but I'm happy to be talking. Happy to be recording the podcast.
Me too. Me and Julia are going to see Twister after this. So I'm actually so curious how it goes. Growing up, I had a huge fear of like tornadoes. Like whenever it was remember. Like, yes. And so I'm like,
you were in a tornado.
I was in a tornado once, but then also I feel like when I went to St. Mark's, like, all our science was just like focused on tornadoes. Like I swear to God, it was like kindergarten, first grade, second grade. It was like tornadoes was our science unit. And so I feel like they really like put a fear in me of like, oh shit, like this is dangerous. And so I'm actually really excited to see this because I feel like it's going to make me like,
conquer your fear.
I'm just
or it's going to be a scary movie.
It's going to be kind of a scary, like suspenseful serious situation. So I'm like actually really excited about it.
I'll never forget when you were in that tornado,
the College Park tornado.
Your windows like broke open.
And I mean, it was serious. They had to rebuild a dorm at University of Maryland. Like it hit a dorm.
Your purple
little
van.
The Previa. My mom was talking about that actually. She was like, because it's funny. That's my first memory of a car. Like my parents had, and she's like, yeah, like that car took us through everything. I'm like, right? That car was like there for us. But,
we got that in my family,
right?
We
that
had cars
Volvo. That's what I
Volvo
think of.
Station the Volvo wagon. We have that.
You and your mom's navy blue Volvo.
1989 till the 2000. Maybe 15 or something ridiculous.
It's hilarious.
But yeah, that shit carried us through literally so much. But yeah, I guess we should what's the word?
Get to it.
Yes. So Alexis, you tell me who's on trial this week.
I definitely want to touch on a lot of things. Let's first talk about Young Miami's Caresha, please.
Caresha.
Season 2, first episode, where she sat down with Saucy Santana, and she allowed him to like interview her. But it was interesting, and I'm actually curious about what your thought on this, because there's a lot of parts I want to talk about. But it was framed like, well, now I'm gonna speak my truth, and like the whole interview was kind of framed around like, well, like the world has knocked me down the past year or two, and like now I'm gonna rise and watch it. And I'm like, I actually, and maybe I'm just not on the part of like the internet that she's talking about, but I'm like, I literally don't think I think about Young Miami at all. Like I feel like when I think of like a downfall, I think of like a Kanye West, I think about like the baby, I think about like other people who've actually had like a serious like
Kanye.
downfall. But I'm like, literally, I
Like
don't.
Drake.
Yeah, Drake. Like I literally don't think about, like they were making it seem like, oh, it's like so public and you have this, it's like I don't remember her downfall at all. I feel like she's always just kind of been there and she's still there, and you know, like I don't
The
know.
Diddy thing is a huge.
But was that her downfall? I feel like that's Diddy's.
Well, she was just very connected to him, and like she was in the lawsuit of like,
True.
oh, like she was handing out pink cocaine or whatever, and
so like you kind of agree with her, like you are like, oh yeah, she did have a downfall. Like it's just funny because my impression was not that
long. It wasn't a true downfall, but it was definitely like, what's gonna happen to her? Like, is she about to go to jail? Is she about to like fall with Diddy? Because there was really serious allegations. Like there was a sexual assault allegation against her specifically. About like, yeah.
So that's good to hear, because I'm like, I literally was like, is she just like, I don't know, sometimes I feel like you can like center yourself so much where you think like everything's about you and everyone's caring about you, and I'm like, I literally didn't think twice about it.
One thing that I learned about the internet is there is so many conversations happening at all times that I am not aware of. Like there probably was like tons of people in her comments that were like, girl, you're done. Like, you know, who knows what they were saying. But yeah, but I also feel like, you know, PR, you have to write the story, you know, like she wants to be like the, you know, an underdog, like coming back to, you know, doing that rise again.
Right. Like I'm speaking my truth. I don't know. It was just interesting because I feel like there has been moments where it's like, oh my gosh, like for example, the Will Smith and Jada Smith thing, when like when like it came out that she was like she had sex with that like R&B, and it was like, we're coming to the red table. Like I feel like that was a moment. Yes, that was a moment where it was like, I mean, oh, this is a big moment. Waiting.
I definitely have been.
Maybe
like,
I'm tripping.
I mean, the Diddy shit and how like that was her man. That was her man. She was standing up at the freaking
with the poster
at the BET Awards when he was making those comments, and you know, she definitely was wearing them white nails in a lot of pictures, and I definitely feel like,
what does white nails have to do with anything?
Have you heard about how like Diddy wanted all his girls to like wear, like when he was dating them?
No, I did not hear about this.
Yeah,
what is this?
Like apparently he had like a thing where he like wanted them to have white nails. And
that's hilarious.
So you look back at a lot of pictures of like Cassie and Caresha, it's like, oh shit, they got them white nails. And then she started wearing other colors like recently after the whole Diddy thing. It was like, oh, like she's doing something different. So yeah, I definitely think it's a big deal for her to be speaking about this situation, because I honestly didn't expect her to speak this soon, because I'm just like, aren't you in like a legal battle right now? Like, aren't you trying to like,
it's interesting,
maybe go to court?
I can't wait. Like, it's interesting. Like, I want to talk about the Diddy piece. Well, a lot of pieces.
Yeah, you tell me, because I haven't seen the interview. Just so y'all know.
So the Diddy piece was interesting because he like, they asked about like, he kind of asked us like, did you experience like, you know, the allegations? And I was kind of annoyed how they kept talking about it as allegations, because I'm like, it's not an allegation anymore. We have a video of him beating Cassie's ass. Yes. This is no longer an allegation. And I kind of felt like the allegation.
They might just have to say that.
They might have to, but also I just felt like there was this connotation of like, we're kind of on Diddy's side, so we're like saying an allegation allows it to still be like, well, who knows, and put doubt in the air as if someone's lying.
Right. Versus, but I feel like this is the truth.
Exactly, and so I was kind of turned off about that. Exactly. So they asked if like, you know, did you experience that, and she was like, well, I don't know that side of him. Like I knew nothing about it. I wasn't a part of that. Like I didn't know nothing about it, so that's why I didn't speak about it. And I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I kind of just feel like I don't buy it because I'm just like, she literally said when she was going back and forth with that girl, the Asian baby mama of like the new
Oh,
baby,
right. Yes.
for Diddy, that like she
She
was like,
said
shut
something
up. She was like,
weird.
shut up. I could literally make Diddy like force you to eat me out right now if I wanted to. And I'm like, that right there shows me that you know the power
Right.
he has over these women and how he will literally
Period.
disrespect them. And so I'm like, for you to say that, but you're saying you didn't know that side of Diddy, that's bullshit.
Yeah, and
Like,
especially because that is not hearsay. Like that is a
exactly.
tweet that we can pull up, and it's just like,
Mm-hmm.
what would make you say that? You know?
Exactly. I'm like,
And
this bullshit.
I feel like people, I don't know, I just feel like Caresha has made it known that's like she is a city girl. She is, she literally was like, I'm a whore. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a whore.
I'm really a whore. Like I'm a, like with a W. Like I'm a whore.
But define that though.
Like I'm a whore.
Like she has said those words. And so it's like, you are hip to the game, honey.
Mm-hmm.
Like you are not sitting there, even if you are turning a blind eye to certain behavior, that is being complicit. And
It's being complicit in it. To me, it's like, you know how we always say revoke your black card? To me, that's like revoke your like girl card. Because I'm just like, to me, it is
happen.
like disgusting and like low down if you're like knowingly dating an abuser. It's one thing if you don't know, you don't believe it. But I'm like, literally everyone that is around Diddy, like I have like listened to interviews, I have seen so many people talk about this, like everyone knew that was a common thing that he hits these women that he's with. You know what I'm saying? Just because he didn't hit you doesn't mean he's not an abuser. He still hits other people.
I mean, the fact is, and maybe she didn't see the Cassie video. Like, let's
That's
just say
bullshit.
Let's just
that was all over Twitter.
No,
and
I'm talking about before
she got
before
with
it came out. You
Okay,
know, like let's say
that.
she's never seen it with her own eyes, like
Yeah.
in the way that we all did.
I could believe that.
It's still just like, I don't know. It's like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just like, okay, maybe he didn't hit you. And maybe the things that were happening, because I will say abuse is very insidious and it's very normalized. So sometimes when it's happening, it's like, oh, like everybody's letting him talk to this girl. Like, maybe he didn't like beat anybody's ass in front of her, or maybe he didn't like, she didn't see sexual abuse taking place or trafficking taking place, but the way in which he uses like his money and his power and his influence and the way that he was behaving, I'm sure like abusers just can't turn it on. I mean, they can look, let me not get it straight, let me not get it twisted. Abusers can turn it on and off, but it's more so like public versus private, and they have what seems like a private, or had a private relationship. So I guess my point is just like, there's, I don't know, maybe she doesn't know what
I could
abuse
believe
is,
that she didn't see. Well, this is the two things. She admits that she has been in 2 relationships that were like had domestic violence, so she knows what it's like to be like hit as a woman and like going through that. And this was prior to Diddy. And she said, I could believe that she did not see the Cassie video until they were together, because that was very well hidden, it seems. But to see the Cassie video, to then have been a victim of 2 past relationships, and to then sit up and then whatever, you decide to stay with him. I have a judgment against that, but whatever. You decide to stay with him.
Did she start to stay with him after that?
I think initially for a little bit, but then she realized she had to distance herself. But regardless,
we don't know the timeline.
We don't know the timeline. She did say she had to distance herself. But it's interesting because I'm just like, to sit up, that's why I'm saying regardless if you stayed with him or not, to sit up on the platform and then use the words allegations, I don't know anything about that, I don't know that part. Like, we literally have living proof.
Right.
This is who he is. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if he showed you a sweet part of him. It's still a part of him that he does this.
Yes. And it sounds like, because again, I have not push play on it, and I was trying to before this episode, but it just didn't happen. But it sounds like she did not acknowledge that he is an abuse.
Exactly.
Like you know, she
Exactly.
did not in this. Like it should have.
And that should have been
could
your
have
moment.
yeah, to be like, like you know, wow, like this is the third abuser, basically. Not
Right.
like, oh, you know,
But it shows that like
maybe he did that.
it's interesting because I feel like it really shows she has like a deep love for him still, and it's to the point where she cannot kind of admit this because like she kind of mentions like
or legally,
or legally, but like the way she was talking, she was crying saying this, like they were in love, like they fell in love with each other. And so it's like so it's hard for me to see that she can truly see. Exactly, she's protective of him. It's hard for me
and
to think that she can truly see what it is. And then also it's the way she talks about him is in a way that I feel like a lot of people would judge, because like she talks, and I wonder if it's because of the power dynamic, like because she's like, you know, he taught me so much, he elevated me, he you know, told me I could be a muggle, he taught me things I learned from, you know, it's like the way she was talking was, you could really see the power dynamics in their relationship, where it's like she literally was looking at him as like, I mean,
that's the only thing it could be, like,
yeah, but the age gap.
I mean, it's just, I mean, not even that, just with his level of influence and money and the industry that they were in, like,
yeah,
this is the guy. This is the guy
she said, and she said that,
you know,
she was like, you know, oh, sorry,
like
go ahead.
Him telling her that like you can be it's like, oh, okay, great, like I can be the next little him, like I can be the next whatever. And so that level of influence and power is just like, yeah, it's automatically. And also just the person that he is, he's very like we've just seen him over the years.
He's animated. He's
giving these like pep talks and like telling you that you could like be the best ever.
And she kind of says that she was like, you know, I met Diddy when the world was loving him and celebrating him, and so I celebrated him with him. And then it was like once he kind
that makes sense.
You know, once the video came out, everybody was looking at me crazy for having done that. And I'm like, that makes sense. But I feel like a lot of like, I don't know. I just hate when people talk so absolute, because I feel like I can distinctly remember scrolling through Twitter during the times where he was getting all those icon awards, Lifetime Achievements Awards, and people were being very critical of that. So it's just like, this is this, like, even like off of like sexual assault, they were like, this is the same man who's like abusive in work conditions, who stole money from Danity Kane and like left them high out to dry. Like, you know, it's like there's so many things. And so I just like, I don't know, I hate when people talk about things in a way that's
this
like,
is the moment to
exactly
like be mad at him versus
it's just
all
like
stuff.
I just hate when people talk about things as if like, well, everyone thought this. Like, no, it's not. Like, there was a huge group of people thinking that it was like he wasn't this guy.
But I guess maybe it sounds like she could have acknowledged the fact that it's just like, because he's all these other things, it's like I guess I can see how she might get in this situation. Now, I do agree with you about staying and participating and like seeing like weird shit go down and like standing 10 toes down or whatever. But I just feel like people have just different perspectives, and it's just like, if she's trying to make it in the music industry, she don't give a fuck about like allegations on Reddit, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she does not like if we're gonna be real, like, you know, like she's just like, what, like this man can sign a deal for me today, give me my own show on Revolt today and change my life today. And that's one thing about this culture too, it's just like none of the shit matters until it does. Like, because people tend to get away with stuff for years and years. We hear about it all the time. I mean, even like Dr. Dre is celebrated and we know that he's abused women. Like, so many people.
That is so real.
Yeah, but there's so many examples of that. And it's just like, but until it becomes an issue, and then everybody's
But why do you think
like
no one cares? Like, that's like my thing, because I think you made a good point with Dr. Dre. Like, it is known that he has like abused his ex-wife, and like, you know, I feel like it's known that Diddy. I feel like Cassie was not the first, when the lawsuit came out with Cassie. That was not the first time I heard rumors that Diddy hits women.
Definitely.
It's like that was a known thing for Diddy. It's like, why do you think no one just gives a damn?
I mean, I mean, my mind just went
Like, and
super...
when I say no one, I mean like the industry. It's like you literally were given the Lifetime Achievement Award while these allegations were still out.
Okay, the industry, not the public.
Yeah.
Well, the industry is like that's one thing I feel like we have to understand. It's like this industry was built off of that. Like it was never this pure thing where it's like talent comes and they are just lifted up and and like valued. It's always been this like under the table transactional for sex, money, all of that. And so what was the question again? I'm sorry.
Why do you think no one cares? I guess you can look at it as like people and industry. Because I feel like for me, it's just absolutely disgusting.
For the industry, I will say that. For the people, you have to understand, like, this is where my mind kind of goes deep with it. People have emotional ties to these people. I know that it's like, okay, you don't know them, but it's like they listen to this song and think about a time in their life and like, just thinking the world of them or whatever. And like, I just see it where it's like, okay, in regular life, we have abusers that, not we, I don't want to like speak that on anybody, but it's just like there's abusers in people's lives that you still love. Like, like if you have, a dad or somebody that's, been abusive in some way, whether that's emotionally or whatever, you still have love for them. It's still whatever. And so I feel like with this parasympathetic, I don't even know if that's the right word, but y'all know what I'm trying to say, that relationship, I feel like they just want to keep those memories and they want to like not have to face the reality about this person as a person. And that's where we get into things with like art and money and like, can you separate the art and the person? And I feel like I'm split. Like I get it because there's people that I really love and admire, but it's like they kind of like, for example, Kanye. Like I loved Kanye. I still love Kanye because the way that I loved him then was like, oh my God, you inspired me so much. Like I loved the music. I loved your story. I loved the grind. And I truly feel like if Kanye, knock on wood, like anything ever happened to him, I would be sad, like I feel like and I've been critical of him and like, he's not necessarily my favorite rapper anymore because he used to be, but it's like, so I feel like people have just these complicated relationships. I feel like things just are never going to be black and white. Like even with the freaking Chris Brown conversation, how like the internet is like mad that Victoria Monet and all these celebrities showed up at like the R&B girlies were at Chris Brown's show.
Oh my God, I saw that. What are your thoughts on that?
I feel like it goes into this same conversation. I mean, there should be a line. I don't think it's okay to I truly feel like in our heart of hearts, I hope as a humanity, we want abusers to like it to be taken seriously and a line. Like just because this person is talented, can sing, we have memories of them, whatever. But if they're continuing a cycle of abuse, then we need to decide as a community that we're not going to accept that. I think that in our heart of hearts, that is what we ideally would do. But I feel like, I don't know. I really don't know. I think people have just, again, like they love him, it's just like they want him to do well, but it's weird in Hollywood. I feel like it's like, okay, you want this person to do well, but you're not like getting them in rehab and holding them accountable
Exactly.
to like deal with your anger issues.
Isn't that so interesting?
You're just gonna like root for them and like
you're gonna
show
continue
up.
to give them the money. You're gonna continue to give them the publicity instead of doing the hard thing, which is yes, like you said,
be invested in that way of like where this nigga does when he goes home, like, and making sure that he's not doing like harmful things. And I really hope, and like, if we want to be even realer, like even with Kendrick, like I love Kendrick so much, and Kendrick definitely like praises. I mean, he had Dr. Dre at the Not Like Us thing, and it's like, on one hand, it's like, okay, like, but where do you stand on this? I don't know. It's like, what do they owe the public? Like, how do they show that they have grown? Because that's another thing. I'm curious your opinion on, like, say Dr. Dre. I feel like he's a good example because I don't know if we've heard of him doing bad stuff recently, like versus like Chris Brown, where he has like kind of a track record. But say like, you know, he's really changed his life, but he's never publicly came out and said that. Do you think he owes the public that, or do you think we should just cancel him forever and like just not play his music?
Dr. Dre?
Yes.
It's just such a hard. I feel like this. If someone does not show change, and by change I mean not for a week, you said you're sorry and you cried, right?
But how do we see that? That's
I mean, hopefully it would be like in other relationships, there was no other allegations. The way you talk about women in your music and talk about women in your interviews shows like an utmost respect. You verbally show regret at whatever, like, in humility at every time you get. Maybe you're giving money now to a domestic violence like organization.
How do we know? How do we track this stuff?
I don't know how we track that, but to me, that's what I would say. You like, what is like? How do I show that you have true recovery? And but I'm like, for me, it's like, I don't know. It's just like, again, it would be hard for us to track that, right? And so I guess we never really know, I guess. But for me, I'm just like, okay, Chris Brown. After Rihanna, you beat up Karrueche, and now she has a restraining order against you. So you didn't learn. And then it's like, the way you still talk about women in music is still disrespectful. Like, okay, you still didn't learn.
Again,
like,
Dr. Dre.
Dr.
About
Dre.
That example, because it's just like, I mean, I don't know his whole track record, but I know that
let's look it up.
Like, you know, he has,
Dr. Dre. What is it? Abuse.
Violence.
Domestic.
Alleged
domestic violence. Okay, let's see. Let's see if there's anything new. Okay, here we go. Why Dr. Dre has long been accused of violence against women. Why is he still being rewarded? Let's see the most recent.
Oh, it says in a rumor report from 2017 on the
I know, I was
Club,
seeing that too.
Dr. Dre comes clean about abusing women in his past.
But that's what and like, how did he talk about it? I would love to like listen to that and see. It's like, were you like, I made mistakes? I did, but it's like, to me, it's like, I'm not here for the bullshit of like, well, that's what my father did, and I didn't know. It's like, I don't give a damn. Like at a certain age, of recovery, at the certain age, you know that's wrong. At a certain age, you're scared if you were slap a girl that she would call the police. You're scared. Why? Because you know it's wrong.
And also,
so it's like, that's bullshit.
And also, I just feel like at a certain point in recovery, you take ownership of your actions because, you know, it's just like, yes, my parents did that, funny. But I am doing this and I did that. Like, you have to take ownership of your shit. So, but
hold on, I'm really trying to find like if there's a recent thing. But no, I feel like, to me, I'm just like, yes, you have to take ownership. And maybe he hasn't. Yeah, maybe that was a thing in the past, and that's great. It's just that, oh my God. Wait, wow, okay, so whatever. I mean, it's just, I don't know, like, it's hard to, I feel like that's this same question that we constantly sometimes think about is like, when should you be forgiven? You know, when is your time that you can like move forward?
Is it
And
like for
and
us
right,
to
is it
even
for us?
decide,
Right.
you
Or
know?
is it for like the victim? And but I feel like I don't know. But like you said, your thoughts on the Chris Brown thing, that like the artist going to Chris Brown, is that you don't care? Like what is it?
Um, what do I think about it? I just think like, again, am not like, because I'm seeing how like just um I mean, with Chris Brown, again, I just feel like people just cannot get over how much they love him and like his talent, that they are willing to look past and just be like, that was his past, and just like not really deal with the facts. And sadly, that is a trait of being in an abusive relationship. Like, you are just like continuing this pattern, enabling this person. So maybe it's just like him and his fans are just in this, abusive cycle. And it's like, I don't know. Everybody's sick and suffering. Like, for real. It's like, it is just, I don't really know how I feel, honestly. I don't know. I feel like I do feel like in my heart of hearts it would be nice to see celebrities, you know, just taking a stand in the right direction. But again, what did Malcolm X say? It's like we shouldn't be trying to look for guidance in these celebrities anyways.
Mm, that's
And I
real.
think more and more, especially with the age of Aquarius astrology talk, it's going to be time for us to lead ourselves. Like, we know that these are not the people to look towards. So, like, moral judgment.
And then it
So,
was interesting, like just kind of back to the interview, like so yeah, so she said that,
mm-hmm.
and I was like, yeah, I don't believe that you didn't know about Diddy, and we can stop calling allegations. We know it's true, but anyway, she
Mm-hmm.
talks about like her and JT and how it's like
Mm-hmm.
over, and how like they're cool, but they're kind of not cool. Like she doesn't talk to her every day. She doesn't like hit her up, and it's kind of like that. And she
What
said that,
happened with
but
them?
she said that they were just not like, their chemistry wasn't there anymore, and then the money dried out. She said like their most recent album did terrible. There was no money there. And they were, whenever they were getting together, the chemistry wasn't there. And then she kind of was like, I have kids, I have to like look out for myself. So she kind of did Risha Roulette and her merchandise and stuff. And JT, she kind of made it seem like JT was like stepping out on her rap career without her, so she was kind of just like whatever. But it made me like, it was interesting because she talks about how she hasn't released any new music because her record label won't allow it, because they said that she's not evolving as an artist. And it kind of made me think about kind of what we were talking about before, like a while back ago, where it's like there has to be more to it than talking about like getting money from men, drinking and out of the club. Like, at a certain point, like it has to evolve, and like
Oh
it's
my
funny that like
God.
her label told her that like at a
I
certain
mean,
point we have to get better.
and yeah, get better is the key word, because I feel like the subject matter, I don't know if that will change that much. Because I feel like I haven't heard JT's new album, but I do like, 90s baby and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
it's the same stuff. Like, I got the best pussy in the world. Like, like, just I am that girl and fuck these bitches and whatever.
Right.
But I will say that the music and the flow is there, so it's just like maybe that's her. That's
You
her
talking about
problem.
Caresha or JT?
JT.
Okay, let's talk about Caresha.
But that's what people say. But that's what I'm saying. Like, maybe that's what they're saying about Caresha. It's just like she's not. And people say that she wasn't the better, like JT was the better rapper.
I can believe that, but it just made me laugh because I'm like, okay, so I'm curious like what she's gonna come with now that they've told her like you need to evolve. What is this gonna look like? Because I'm just like, we've been saying that for a while. Like at a certain point, like they were kind of just being like, okay, yeah, they met you as like your fans met you as the city girls, and now they're grown. Like they're grown now. Like they can't resonate with this. Like I'm like, okay, let's see what happens.
I'm a little nervous for her, just on the music tip, because I do like JT's music a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
And like the song that I heard from Caresha that she like posted on her story recently. I wasn't really.
Well, the one that was like, "Can't fuck with me. You
Yeah.
can't fuck with me." It's like, girl, this is not
Yeah.
like they told you to evolve. This is not it. Like,
And
it's not it.
I just don't know if she can carry that on her own without switching up her flow. She's gonna have to switch it up.
Well, then, like, I didn't I send you the thing? Like, she previewed yesterday on TikTok, like, one of her like new songs, or it was like it was recently, maybe not yesterday, but it was recently, and it was like, it's shot o'clock, it's shot o'clock. And I'm just like, come on, like, it's
That's
just
what
like
she'll
we
probably
gotta
be trying
do
to
better.
do. She's gonna try to be probably try to be getting a hit, like, you know, just something that's gonna.
Make her some quick money.
That was most of their songs. Like, you know, I feel like they were a lot more, you know, just like catchy and mainstream a little bit.
Yeah, it's just funny.
Like that's where she's comfortable.
I agree. I mean, nobody would consider her a lyricist. So it's like, yes, I think that's exactly where that you have to be comfortable. It's kind of like, you know.
And I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I feel like I'm just starting to pay. Like, I listened to the City Girls, but I wasn't really invested in like them as like a group or like individuals, I guess. So I feel like I'm just getting to know them.
Mm-hmm.
And it just does feel like JT. Like, Caresha seems like people like her personality.
Yeah,
and she's like pretty.
She's a great personality. She's magnetic.
Yeah, yes.
And she's pretty,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, so it feels like that feels like more her lane. And then JT feels like the music shit. I mean, her remix with Jeezy is so good. Like,
I like JT a lot. I think JT has like a really lovable personality. Like, she just is she seems very sweet and down to earth. And I love when people just surprise you in the sense that she's like, I literally just want to be at home with some chicken tenders and watching TV. Like, you know, like, I don't care about the club that much. I rap about the club. I don't want to be at the club. Like, you know, and it's just like, I love that.
yes.
Rather than like the other side of it where it's like, okay, you're like you're putting on the personality that we would expect of you, right? You're having a song about shots.
Yeah, JT definitely is like, she's giving Aquarius vibes, like in her just uniqueness. Like being with what's his name,
Uzi,
Lil Uzi Vert.
Yeah. But, oh my god, I'm gonna show you later though this video of like of like Uzi trying to like check Caresha on live and like because like JT was talking to her on live and he's like, give me the phone, JT, and she hands it over. He tries to like check her and I'm like, I am like shocked JT's like allowing this, one, and then two, I'm just like, this is so wild that he's like wanting to check this woman like on this public platform. Like, okay. But he was like, is this Caresha? And it's like, you literally can see she's on fucking live. And he's like, and she like ignores it. Caresha like ignores it. And he's like, I said, is this Caresha? And Caresha like is laughing. And then he's like, don't fucking play with me, Caresha. No. I'm like, oh my God. Okay, anyway. So part of me is like, maybe that was the downfall of the relationship. Because I'm like, ain't no man in hell. That might be
where they started.
Right. I'm like, I would never allow that. But yeah, you should watch the interview though and like text me your thoughts later.
I definitely will.
And sorry, the last thing I want to say is I think Saucy Santana and Caresha have like a really cute friendship, and I'm like so happy.
Do the show together.
That's what I'm saying. This is your fucking moneymaker here. Like, everyone is. Anytime Caresha Please drops, everyone is seated. You know, like, this is your lane. Like,
but also like exactly, and also like, I mean, I love Saucy Santana. Like, I feel like he's
hilarious.
Like, them two together, it's just like, why not just have both of them and just turn into, you know, your podcast and your show. And until you find, like, maybe you do some new music, you know, at some point. But it's just like, take your time, girl, and just heal. Because like you said, you have been in abusive relationships. So, you know.
But let's move on, friend. I also want to talk about Jordan Childs because I feel so bad for her.
Yes, I feel bad that she has just even had to deal with this bullshit because I think she's getting to keep the What? She's not? I
No,
thought
there's
that
been
the US like
yes, but there
appeals
was so
it.
much. Okay, well, just to like give a little recap for the pod purposes, Jordan,
Yes.
she did her she was in the finals for her floor routine, and they judged her. They got the judging incorrectly on her difficulty. They didn't judge one of her scores. I mean, one of her like flips or whatever you call it. At the level difficulty they should. So they originally gave her a score that put her in 5th place, and she was out of medal contention. There is a rule, I believe, that like you have to put in an appeal to the judges for a score, an inquiry within, like in her case, it was a minute. Um, she put in the appeal during the Olympics. They accepted it. The judges accepted it, and they changed her score to 3rd place. She then gets a bronze medal. So the world was so happy for her because there's like all those videos of her like reacting and being so surprised, and you could tell she wasn't expecting it, and she gets it. So then like she like I would say like 3 days. It's so sad too because she was on Good Morning America the next day. All these things. The next like a couple of days later, there was an appeal put in by the Romanian gymnast, who was the one who was originally going to get the 3rd place medal. And obviously she's devastated, saying that like actually Jordan was 4 seconds late on the appeal. Her coaches were 4 seconds late on the appeal. And because of that, she did not put it in the minute like length, and she needs to give back the medal. So they accept this appeal. The head gymnastics corporation, whatever they're called, they accept the appeal, and Jordan is asked to give back her medal. The USA Gymnastics then files another appeal saying, actually, no, we have video footage showing that we actually got it took us, I think they said 47 seconds to do the appeal. They have timestamps with the timing that we got it in the minute time frame, and we should actually, Jordan does not need to give her back her medal, and you need to like reaffirm that she was in 3rd place. So that was like the most recent thing. And then the Gymnastics Corporation people respond saying, we do not accept additional appeals. So we took we only accept the first appeal, which was the Romanian girls. We no longer now can accept appeals. Like that's their law. That's their rule. So like, no, Jordan has to give back the medal. And so people are just like, what the fuck? Even though y'all have time evidence proof that it was within the time frame, you're telling me just because y'all don't accept more than one appeal,
Right.
like you're not
and
going
this
to
was
hear
the
us
judge's
out?
mistake.
Yes, and then a lot of people were saying that too. Like, and I feel like Simone Biles put this on her story when it happened, or like some type of soundbite. It was an interview, something. But she said like, why is there more accountability on Jordan than it is the judges to be doing their fucking job? Like they made the mistake once, and then they accepted the appeal on site after, and then they moved her and gave her the medal. Why on earth should Jordan have to pay for any of that?
Yes, you're going back and forth.
Exactly.
Like, what the fuck?
This is the
Get it
judge's
together.
mistake. I mean, we now know that she got it in the minute time frame. But even if she did it, y'all accepted it. Period. Like, this is two mistakes on your half. You judged her wrong, and then you accepted the
And
fucking
then you're
appeal.
able to appeal 3 days later. Like that. Now I got to appeal in 1 minute. And then y'all giving this girl 3 days, and she decides to send a letter. And it's like, no.
And
like,
then when it's proof that you're actually incorrect, you're still gonna stand 10 toes down and say, no, we don't care. Just because of formality, we're not gonna hear you. I'm like, that wouldn't happen to a white gymnast. I'm sorry.
No, it would not
that
happen. It would not happen. And it is just, I'm just sick of, like, I just can't. First of all, this is news to me. I thought she was gonna be able to keep her medal. And that is just atrocious. Like, I'm just like, people, and somebody said this in one of my meetings. They were like, they were triggered about it. And they're just like, I just feel like when Black people win, give them their things. Like, give them their things now. Like, it is just ridiculous to think that, like, so she won. But because of y'all's error, she's not gonna get a medal. It's just like, y'all are fucking stupid.
I don't know.
Never have it in Paris again.
And I feel like race just has a lot to do with it, because I'm like, there's this impact of like white womanhood and like fragility, and like
they're so mad that it was all 3 of the Black girls.
And not even that. I feel like it's just like they can't help but be sympathetic to a white woman
right.
over a black woman, right? Because at the end of the day, you're
Right.
also hurting Jordan, but
Oh my
you can only
God.
empathize and really feel the pain when it's attached to a white woman. Because I just do not believe for a fact that they would do this to a white woman. They would say, unfortunately, you know, like,
Oh my God.
we accepted
Jordan
it then
would've
and we're
had to get
standing to
over
it.
it. Yes.
Exactly. Jordan would have had to get over it if the
In
things
that
were like
moment,
exactly.
yes. We
And it's
forgot
just-
about we had forgotten about that happen.
Exactly.
Like, and we would have,
Exactly.
if a black girl would have came up and said like, actually no, like this wouldn't even have made the news.
They would have cut her mic off. They would have done everything in their power to not listen. And so that's why I'm just like, I don't know.
Y'all
it's just
are
so
playing.
sad. They are, but I'm like, the USA should like do some weird shit to like they should really like boycott. Like, I'm just like, let's be clear. The USA gymnastics are the ratings for Olympics gymnastics.
Yes.
Everyone tuned in to see Simone Biles, Suni Lee, and Jordan Childs. I say don't fucking show up to the next one. Go on a full ass boycott.
Yep.
Like, literally be like, we're
Yeah.
not giving you shit for
We
the
don't
Olympics.
need that. Yes.
And I feel like Jordan Childs should sue and USA Gymnastics should sue the hell up out of this corporation and that Romanian girl.
Yes.
And sue them for every fucking ounce, discrimination, everything else.
Everything. These girls are risking their lives.
Right.
And doing it at the best, like the ultimate caliber. The least you guys can do is get the fucking scores right. You're not doing anything really. And it's just like, I'm just over, like, I cannot believe that.
It's so sad.
It is sad, but again, we need to stop putting all this emphasis. I know it is real, like, you know, but I feel like in this moment, we're just seeing this haphazardness of the fucking Olympics. Like, it really is a, you know, a production, a show that's like put on that people are not obviously showing up and doing their job right. Like the fact that Sha'Carri Richardson and people weren't running because they weren't able to warm up, and like I would love to just hear all the things. And then did you hear about Noah Lyles?
Yes, having fucking COVID.
No, his mother posted something.
I've seen a lot of talk about this actually.
Yes.
I know what you're talking about, but go ahead, you can explain it.
This boy was, I guess, at the end of his race, laying on the ground.
He was
like,
wheezing, yeah.
He
I
was wheezing. And her mom was like, his mom was like, somebody help my son. And like, they were not calling the paramedics.
I've been seeing like other people that were around the incident tweeting about it. And they were like, actually, no, like that wasn't what happened. Like, she's like that, like she was like rushing to get on the, but I still stand in her defense. She was trying to rush onto the track to like see what's up with her son. And they were like, not permitting her. But I'm like, regardless, I'm like, I still am on her defense because I'm like, if my kid is wheezing on the fucking floor, I know they have COVID. They just ran something they probably shouldn't have run. They're winded. They have asthma as well. I'm like, get your fucking hand off me.
Y'all,
I'm jumping on the track and I'm checking on my fucking kid. So like, to me, I'm just like, regardless, she's in the right for me in that situation because I'm like, no mother would watch their kid do that and then just sit by.
Absolutely. That reminds me, and
but like, just so you know, because I got to go at 7 to see Twister.
Alexis has a hot date. That reminds me of this documentary called Take Care of Maya. Have you heard of that?
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. It's so interesting.
That just reminds me of that. Because just like, why, first of all, these, like, we just talked about the Olympics just being all willy-nilly with these athletes. Why would I ever put my trust in you guys to do anything, to believe me, to, you know, whatever? And so it's just interesting, like in the documentary, we can get into it maybe next time, but just like this family lost their kid of like
to
trying to the system, like trying to protect them. And it's just like, it's just crazy. That documentary just blew my mind that like this happens a lot. Like kids go to the doctor, you taking your kid to the emergency room because, you know, you're trying to get help, and then they go into the system and then you can go to jail and you never see them again. And they like make you seem like you're crazy trying to be a parent to my child. Like any mother would have done with what Maya's mother would would have done. Like, I would have been even worse. I would have been way worse. But anyways,
this was
can end it on that note. Yes.
Please message. We did get some topic requests for today, but Samantha didn't have the energy, so maybe we'll talk about it.
No,
next
we talked
time.
about Caresha.
We did not talk about our birth charts. So
yes, but Soleil requested that, and Soleil, we're about to talk about my birth chart this weekend.
Julia just texted me, so we gotta go, girl. So yes, I will say, please message your topics to whoamitojudgepod@gmail.com. DM us on who am I to judge pod on Instagram,
Twitter, everywhere, TikTok.
Yes, we worldwide, we everywhere.
Yes, and we love y'all.
We love y'all.
Can't wait to come back.
Bye, friends.
Bye.
See you next week.
Thank you so much for listening. Remember to email us your discussion topics at whoamitojudgepod@gmail.com. Also, remember to subscribe to Who Am I to Judge podcast on Spotify and everywhere you get your podcast. If you love us, please rate us and review. And if you don't, leave us alone. Tell a friend to tell a friend. See y'all next week. Bye, friends.